The largest VTuber scam ever just happened. I think more people need to be aware of these companies like this. It's not just Vshojo. There are a lot more out there that are just ripping people off that we don't know about because it's involving smaller creators, not just VTubers. Just any kind of these talent agencies, they gotta go. There's no point in talent agencies. They just prey off of people who are stupid and don't know any better and don't know that they shouldn't sign their life away to a contract. Signed all of their creative energy into a contract. No thanks. Just be indie. Just be indie. You'd be a lot better off. It might be a slower build, but you know, at least it'll all be yours and you won't get screwed over and you actually get paid the money that you're supposed to be paid.
This massive VTuber just exposed her management company for potentially stealing her money and over $500,000 of
potentially. I don't think it's potentially. I think it's pretty straightforward now that that we know. And it's not just Ironmouse. It was all of them.
Charity money. But after researching this video, I realized things are just so much worse than what's currently being talked about, as this company allegedly owes over $2 million to its creators and loans.
Over. It's over. Way over. I guarantee you it is way more than that. Potentially double.
And it actually just got worse because we just found out it's now an $11 million disaster. But we'll get into that later on in this video. So starting things off, this YouTuber...
there's some people going to jail.
Spent the last 2 years raising money for non-profit medical organizations, and her agency has been sitting on over $500,000 meant for those charities. And it's saved...
Dude, what is with all these people, all these companies just not giving $500,000 to charity? Like what is with that?
Say things have escalated far beyond what anyone could have anticipated, because
it's like whenever these creators and these creator companies get up to the $500,000 range that they owe to charity, they just don't pay it. Why? What the fuck?
Once this information was brought to light, a massive wave of creators started officially announcing that they were leaving this same agency, all for the same reasons: no payouts and a complete lack of transparency. But meet Ironmouse, an American VTuber from Puerto Rico who's been on the scene since the very beginning. We're talking about August of 2017. This is back when English-speaking VTubers were basically unheard of and still pretty niche. If you don't know, a VTuber is essentially a virtual YouTuber. It's a newer genre of content creation that originates from Japan. Normally, it's someone who uses a virtual avatar rather than showing their face on screen. And to do this, they often use like a face tracking tool, so it's not just some cartoon sitting there on the side of the screen. You actually have an animated character that's being played by a real person behind the screen. And what makes Ironmouse's career story pretty notable is the...
I've been working on a VTuber model. I'm not trying to be a VTuber, but you know, sometimes when I don't want me to be over here in the camera, I'm feeling bad or I look bad or something like that, then I'd like to throw a VTuber up on screen.
Circumstances that led her to streaming in the first place. Originally, Ironmouse had dreams of becoming an opera singer, specifically a coloratura soprano. That apparently is one of the most technically demanding types of opera singing that you can do, but life had other plans for her, because unfortunately she was diagnosed with something called common variable immunodeficiency, or CVID for short. And without getting too deep into the medical stuff, it's basically an immune disorder that left her largely bedridden and isolated from the world. So if you're training to be an opera singer, which requires you to be around people, perform live, travel, and so on, and then you get hit by this condition, that means things get pretty hard for you to leave the house safely. And then
yep, and that's how you become a streamer. You have to at that point. What else are you gonna do?
On top of that, to make things worse, 2020 was a terrible year for basically everyone, but an even worse year for people who are immunocompromised. But going back to 2017, she decided to pivot to streaming full time. As she puts it, she was feeling lonely and wanted something to do. And since, you know, showing her real face online wasn't something she wanted to do, she was inspired by Kazuna AI. And Kazuna AI is considered to be one of the first VTubers to exist and created her own digital persona. And honestly, it worked out very well for Ironmouse, because by 2024, she had become one of the most subscribed Twitch streamers of all time during a subathon stream in September, which surpassed Kai Cenat's record.
I think that probably Ironmouse is going to end up being one of the biggest content creators, at least of modern history,
at the time, which was an absolute massive achievement. But her success isn't just about numbers for her, though, as she's always been pretty open about using her platform to raise funds and spread awareness for immune disorders.
Oh yeah, she's about to get so much bigger,
which makes sense given her direct connection to this cause.
This whole Vshojo situation, I think, is going to turn out really, really good for all the people that were involved in being creators under the talent agency Vshojo.
Ironmouse first started, she was independent, but in 2020, she became one of the founding members of this new agency called Vshojo, or Vshojo. I still don't actually know how they pronounce it, but I think I'm gonna go for Vshojo. Vshojo. Oh no. I'm gonna go for Vshojo. Vshojo sounds easier to pronounce though. I gotta make an executive decision, and I have no idea which one's right. Vshojo was a massive development in the VTuber scene. All right, coming in from the future here, that was a bad executive decision. But honestly, it doesn't really matter because the company doesn't really exist anymore. So enjoy me.
Yeah, it only exists on paper in an investigation because they're about to arrest a whole bunch of people.
Mispronouncing the name for the rest of the video, as it was the first major VTuber agency based entirely in North America.
Or maybe just the one that's at the top. I don't know. Who's gonna get sacrificed?
Up until then, most of the big agencies were Japanese companies. Vshojo positioned itself as being different and modest, as on their website they call themselves a talent-first agency. With that statement, they gave the impression they would at least listen to their talent's feedback, work hard to help them achieve their dreams, and their biggest selling point being, you know, letting the creator—
Yeah, that's a major red flag. Major red flag when they're like, actually, no, we care the most about our creators. Like, bro, you only exist to make money.
Keep their intellectual property. That's huge in the world of VTubers because a lot of agencies actually own the character designs that can basically
existed
be taken away from them when they leave. This was not the case with Vshojo. And what also kind of differentiated them a little bit is they provided resources like better models, merchandising opportunities, sponsorship deals, and all sorts of stuff that managing agencies normally don't do, while letting the creators maintain more control than they would with traditional agencies. And while, hey, that sounded great on paper, and for a while, it seemed to work. Vshojo attracted some of the biggest names in the Western VTuber scene, and Ironmouse continued to grow her audience alongside of them. But as we know, that might have just been smoke and mirrors because that didn't end well. Because on July 21st, 2025, Ironmouse dropped a bombshell. She uploaded a video to YouTube titled "Why I Left Vshojo," and within hours it was blown up. As of recording this, it's already surpassed 1.2 million views, which tells you how significant this is not only for the VTuber scene, but also for the internet as a whole. Because this video starts off pretty straightforward. She's leaving the agency, but then she gets into the why. And that's where things get a little bit wild. Because according to Ironmouse, she recently found out for the past couple of months that she's been misled by Vshojo about her finances.
No.
And here she claims that based on the information that she currently has, she believes she's owed a significant amount of funds that have not been paid out to her. But the most—
Yeah, apparently this has been going on for a long time. Over a year. Like, some people said that they weren't being paid, like, it's been more than a year. That's crazy.
The most important thing for her, however, is the fact that the charity that she loves and promotes, the Immune Deficiency Foundation, is owed $500,000, as she explains here.
And most importantly, the thing that hurts me the most is that the Immune Deficiency Foundation, which is the most important charity to me, and also the reason why I'm here today, is owed over $500,000.
That's so crazy, man. That's so
And to understand why this hit so hard, you need to know about Ironmouse's connections to the Immune Deficiency.
But good news is they have surpassed that $500,000 by a lot because of all this drama. Like, good on them. Good on them. Good on everybody involved in this, except for everybody who was on the Vshojo end who didn't pay. Like, I'm glad that you've gone down for this, and I'm glad that people are going to go to jail, or at least one person.
Foundation, which is a national nonprofit organization that's dedicated to improving the lives of people primarily with immunodeficiency diseases. They provide support, education, and advocacy for patients and their families who are dealing with these conditions. Essentially, they're trying to help people in situations similar to what Ironmouse has been experiencing throughout her life. Hence why she's actively been fundraising for them for years, since at least 2023. She's been working with her friend Connor, who goes by CDawgVA online, to raise money through various events. They've done things like charity bike rides, online auctions, and all sorts of stuff. And the Immune Deficiency Foundation even put out a statement backing her up. A spokesperson told Newsweek portal, "Our ongoing relationship with Ironmouse is both long-standing and transparent. Each time she's hosted a fundraising activity, she's done so with the care to ensure the contributions are handled responsibly. She's been steadfast in her genuine commitment to supporting our organization and our mission." Now, for the situation that just
absolute bullshit, man.
caused this complete fallout. In 2024, Ironmouse did a subathon, and she surpassed 310.
Not what it just was said was bullshit. I mean, this whole situation is bullshit.
Subscribers on Twitch and set new records in the process. But more importantly, that subathon raised over $515,000 to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Now, according to Ironmouse, when she did a similar subathon back in 2023, Vshojo handled this payment without any issues. Everything went smoothly, like the money arrived at its intended destination and everyone was satisfied. But this time, nearly a year later for the stream in 2024, that money still hasn't reached the charity as of recording.
Dude, what has happened in like the last year or two? What happened at this company to make everything just make the bottom fall out? What did this? What caused this? Was it a leadership change?
This video. Although they did just have a massive raise separately, but we'll get into that later on. We're now talking about the 2024 charity situation that Ironmouse is referring to when she talks about being misled by Vshojo. Imagine raising $500,000 for a cause that's deeply personal to you, thinking that you've actually made a real difference here, and then you find out months later that no one actually received that money. Yeah, that's unacceptable. And obviously, she makes it very clear in this video that there's so much more to the story that she just can't tell us right now, as she's been instructed by her attorney to wait for more legal proceedings to
probably knows what happened behind the scenes to make everything end up like this.
Unfold before she can tell the full story. So if you were thinking, wow, this is a massive talent agency, Ironmouse isn't probably the only creator. You would be correct, because Ironmouse wasn't the only Vshojo talent to leave this year. Even before her big revelation, like, there was already cracks shown in the foundation. Because back in April, a VTuber by the name of Matara Khan announced that her contract with Vshojo would be ending in May, and that she would actually be going independent. 2 months later, another one by the name of Giga publicly said that she had terminated her contract on June 27th. And on the exact same day, Zentreya, who was also one of the founding talents of Vshojo alongside of Ironmouse, also announced that she would be leaving on July 11th. So that's a lot of their big talent gone in just a few months. And
yeah, and that's not even to mention all the people that left a year or two ago or more. They've got stories too.
At the time, none of these departures seemed particularly dramatic. Like, people, I guess, leave agencies all the time. Like, contracts end, creators want to go independent, or they get better offers. Stuff like this happens. Meanwhile, though, behind the scenes, Vshojo, they were allegedly trying to sell the whole company for the sum to essentially pay back the creators the money they owed them.
That's crazy.
Loans. So now you have this screenshot out there, and this was just like a month before all this became public, and likely a desperate attempt by Vshojo to avoid this public situation that's currently unfolding as we speak. Kat here, who shared the screenshot, is known for being
dude, a company that was literally just to exist, to make money. The only thing that you could do with this company was to make money. How did you not make money? How are you not profitable? Because you're doing nothing. You were literally doing nothing. And you still weren't profitable. How? How is that? What were you wasting the money on? Parties? $30,000 parties? That's what I think. That's my guess.
Really crypto investor. And he explained here that when he went through the financials, it looked like a team that had never run a business before.
I heard from somewhere down the grapevine that there was some actual cocaine and hookers involved. That's fucking crazy if that's true, but I heard that from Nuxanor. And he heard that from somebody else, so that's literally down the grapevine.
So that's interesting to see. But jumping ahead just by 1 month after Ironmouse's video dropped, Zentreya responded in a way that suggested there may be way more going on behind the scenes than anyone realized. She hinted there were also ongoing issues with the agency that potentially influenced her decision to leave as well. And just like that, the floodgates opened. The day after Ironmouse released her video, fellow VTuber Henya announced that she was quitting Vshojo and going independent. And I mean, at this point, it's kind of like dominoes falling because so many big names just got up and left. Like all of these creators here. So I mean, it's safe to say the VTuber community's reaction was swift and pretty unanimous in supporting Ironmouse. Fellow streamers and VTubers started commenting on the whole situation almost immediately. Giga, who had already left Vshojo, chimed in. Connor, who's been working with Ironmouse on the charity stuff for years, also showed his support. Even creators outside of the VTuber space like Shibuya Kahu started weighing in. Pretty much all of them publicly showing support for Ironmouse.
Yeah, everybody's talking about this. Asmongold talked about this, Tectone talked, all the people that I watch, all the people that you know I watch, they all talked about this. More Pegasus, Like, this is crazy.
And her decision. And the fact that so many other talents immediately started leaving after this seems like Ironmouse's video either revealed information they hadn't known before or gave them the courage to take action and speak up about their issues with the company themselves. So this has been quite the situation to see unfold. And what also makes this a little bit interesting is
yeah, this isn't just like some basic ass drama. This is like some actual illegal shit happened.
Vshojo has not responded to this, at least publicly in any way. The only thing they've done is remove their affiliate section on their Twitter profile, which used to list a bunch of their partners. Now there's nothing there, so that's interesting. Then on top of that, the Vshojo store has been removed, which is also definitely interesting. But as of right now, all we can really do is wait for the situation to unfold properly. Ironmouse has already promised that when she's legally able to do so, that she'll tell the full story of what happened behind the scenes.
Bro, that is going to hit hard. It is gonna slap whenever that drops on the internet. Everybody's gonna be talking about that again. Like, as soon as that drops, we're gonna get the reactions left, right, up, down, sideways.
And given how dramatic the small segments of the story have been, I can only imagine what the complete picture will look like. And just taking a step back, this whole situation is just so wild. You have an agency that was supposed to be talent first, allegedly sitting on a whole bunch of charity money, while misleading its biggest star about finances. And then you have an entire roster of talent.
Where'd the money go? What happened? Where'd all that money go?
Leaving in the span of a few months, and obviously things got so bad that one of the founding members had to go public with serious allegations. It's just like a masterclass of how not to run a talent agency.
True.
And then you can't forget, literally a month before all this came out, them trying to quick sale or fire sale the whole org for, I guess, its entire debt. That's
also just like anybody who gets contacted by somebody who makes them sign a contract to sign their life away, sign their creative talents away. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a trap. They're scamming you.
Crazy.
They're gonna steal all your money.
Where did things go wrong? As most agencies, they run on a revenue split business model. And
yeah, Ironmouse, I think, knows exactly what went wrong. I think a lot of people, I think Tectone and Nuxanor, they all know what went wrong, and they have to stay quiet about it right now because they don't want to get sued, because they don't want to say the wrong shit. Because this is going to be real messy, and there's going to be some people going to jail.
Clearly, their talent was making money. So they had to have been making money. Like, did they just overinvest into these projects and hire too many people, or?
I think it was parties. I think they were spending money on stupid shit.
Did they pay themselves out too much? I don't know. As of right now, all we can do is really speculate. I guess for now, only Vshojo and a few investors who've seen their financials actually know what happened. Okay, so since recording this video, Vshojo has actually responded. No. And it's worse than what we thought. So here's...
Yay, he's finally calling it Vshojo.
Justin Gunrun's response. Vshojo has failed, and I've mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. So today I'm sharing the difficult news that Vshojo is shutting down, and I take full responsibility for the decisions that led us to this point. I've been doing everything I can to fundraise and right the ship these past few months, but despite my efforts, we're in a worse position, and those that I care about are now paying the price. Over the past few years, we've raised about $11 million to pursue a bold talent-first approach to VTubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits to achieve long-term sustainability. Our funding went directly to our creators through generous splits, debut investments, infrastructure, concerts, events, and staffing, all designed to support them. We also wanted our talent to...
Concerts, events, and staffing. Sounds to me like they spent all their money on lavish parties.
Own their own IP, which we knew was a unique creator-first approach for the agency. However, despite all of our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue was needed to sustain that model, and eventually we ran out of money. Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. Well, that's a lie. Here's a post.
Yep, it's all bullshit. The whole thing's bullshit. You lie about one thing, the whole thing's a lie. Sorry, get that shit out of here. You're going to jail, bro, probably.
Of him retweeting Ironmouse's charity post. Like, hello, there's no way that he didn't know this was for charity. As a business owner, you don't just get like this massive check into your bank account and you're like, gee, I wonder where this is from. I guess we'll just spend it. What kind of irresponsible tomfoolery is this? Yeah, no, I'm actually just shocked at how stupid this is. But whatever, continuing. At the time, we were working hard to raise additional investment capital to cover our costs. Okay, we apparently covered that earlier. And I firmly believe, based on the information available to us, that we would be able to do so and cover all expenses. Oh no. Okay, so they were literally spending creator talent money and then going, oh, we think that we can raise enough money to keep us afloat and keep everything paying out.
They were gambling. They had a gambling problem. Yeah. They were spending way too much money on bullshit. And then they spent so much money that they spent the money they were supposed to pay out. Okay. All right. Well, everything's going exactly like I thought that it would go. I think there was some cocaine and hookers involved, honestly.
It kind of looks like they were running a Ponzi from reading this. But either way, we were unsuccessful in our fundraising efforts. I made the decision to pursue funding, and I own its consequences. No, dude, you made the decision to allegedly spend creator funds. That was your error there. You can keep your talent's funds in a separate account and try to raise money, and if you go bust, hey, you're bust. Because that money wasn't yours to begin with. And that
yeah, but you know, if they go bust and there is no company, there's break the law, keep the company alive, or don't break the law and company dies and everybody's out of the job. That's probably the way they were thinking it. Like, oh, well, guess we're gonna have to do things a little bit wrong to save the company.
would have even put them in a better position to raise, because at least they wouldn't have betrayed their creators and all the creators' money would have been safe. Then it would actually be easier for them to raise funds because, you know, they don't own any IP here. Their value prop is they have all these massive creators signed to them. So if they lose their creators, the whole thing collapses.
Yeah, I bet it was a lot of friends hiring friends too.
So this is just stupid on a whole new level. Anyway, he then goes on to say that he is deeply sorry to all the talents, staff, friends, and community members who believed in our brand. You did not deserve this. Justin Gunrun. Well, yeah, he's looking at a very rough year. Apparently, they raised $11 million, and clearly that completely imploded. So investors and the remaining owners are left with some serious losses. And since the creators are contractors, they would get paid after the corporate debt is paid, meaning the company has to pay the creditors first. And since there's apparently no money left, and they don't have any valuable IP, as I mentioned earlier, I don't think these creators are going to be getting any money. And that's just...
Oh, they definitely are going to get some money. They're going to get money from the support of the fans, especially the new ones that are just learning about these people. There's a lot of people that have been wanting to watch some VTubers, and they just got a whole bunch of VTubers that they can choose from.
Such a shame because it's owed to them. And it's not like they're going to make any money soon because they lost their entire roster. And who would ever... It
sucks that they legally aren't going to be making money from these people, but it's really good that people know about it. And that these people are going to get bigger fan bases because of all of this.
Want to work with them again. I mean, this is just such a disgusting disaster, as it looks like this company was using the money that was owed to creators to float the company to keep it alive. And I can only hope in the long...
It seems like they're completely fucked, but all the creators that got fucked they're winning. They're getting a W out of this. And that's very rare that happens.
Long run, this will only be a small bump in the road to all the creators affected by this, even though it's an absolute dumpster fire. And I just really hope this doesn't discourage them from making future content. But I mean, hey, either way, at least they didn't get...
I think it's got so many eyeballs on them right now that I think they're probably feeling pretty good about it. They're probably very, very pissed off about it, but they're going to be feeling good about it.
A $6 billion contract to build a city and then build one single half-finished house like Akon did here. Because I would definitely recommend checking out that story here because that is also a complete dumpster fire as well.
Yeah, we'll be checking that out in the next couple days where I'm going to make a kind of a longer video about it because I know some things about it. It's fucking hilarious because I looked into it a little deeper. So I didn't want to make a separate video for this, so I'm just going to get right into it. Vshojo just confessed to crime. Fast facts from Legal Mindset.
Vshojo has just confessed to a crime, specifically fraud related to the Immune Deficiency Foundation, Ironmouse's charity that she has been championing for a very, very long time. And we have a statement from...
I got it linked down there in the description, by the way, if you want to donate to it.
From the CEO, which just blatantly confesses to it and shows not just...
Not in the description, in the comments. And check the comments, not the description.
that fraud, but also wild mismanagement of company funds for a significant period of time. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire. This is a legal mindset where we teach you to be your own judge. And this is a fast facts premiere giving you the short, quick summary version of what's going on today. Now, Vshojo is in massive hot water. And I told you guys days ago that this was going to lead to insolvency. This was going to lead down the road to bankruptcy. And we have today.
And apparently Vshojo is no more. It has shut down. All that's left is Vshojo on paper for the investigation.
A confirmation, and I was entirely right. They are going to go absolutely bank, right? It's done. They're in the red. They've got mass amounts of debt. They're not profitable. They're done. They weren't profitable even with everybody there.
Completely. They announced that they are shutting down.
There's no way to get back to profitability. They are done. And this has more severe consequences than just losing your Twitch emojis, which happened today on Twitch. The gun run global emote is gone. But they have a lot bigger problems than losing cute emotes. So we're going to look at the statement by the gun run and why this statement is absolutely insane, why it's a confession, and also why it doesn't get anybody out of personal liability, why they're still going to be held liable regardless of this statement. This statement doesn't move the yard line, doesn't shift anything really that far because this statement is only a confession and does not remove any liability of him as CEO or even personal liability, which is very, very clear in this when you look at the factual situation. So let's read.
I think bro's going to jail. I think he's going to jail, and he might not be the only one. We'll have to see.
Read through the statement very, very carefully, and then I'm going to analyze it after we go through it. So here's a statement from Vshojo. This is on their X account, so you can go over and read that yourself. And you know, this is obviously unedited, etc. So I'm going to read this. Vshojo has failed, and I've mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. So
you have. Was it just you? Because I don't think it was just you.
So today I am sharing the difficult news that Vshojo is shutting down. And I take full responsibility for the decisions that led us to this point. I've been doing everything I can to fundraise. Now, I'm going to pause there with fundraise. When he says fundraise, a lot of people may think that's a bake sale or this is some sort of selling cookies or whatever else. No, this is begging for money. He's talking about loans. So fundraising, he is talking about loans. He's talking about trying to borrow to keep the company going. Let's be very clear about that.
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay, good thing I'm watching Legal Mindset because I didn't even know about that. That's crazy.
So, and right the ship these past few months. I'm going to stop there as well. Months? No. This thing has been having a problem for over a year. This is a thing that is...
What happened? What happened? Where did it all go wrong?
They've been in financial hot waters for a very long time. This is not something that happened yesterday. It's not something that happened last month. This has been going on for a significant period of time. But despite my efforts, we're in a worse position. And those I care about now are paying the price. Over the past few years, we raised around $11 million to pursue a bold, talent-first approach in VTubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits to achieve long-term sustainability. I can't even imagine how he wrote that with a straight face, given what's happening right now. I cannot believe...
Yeah, I don't think this typed up by an AI. I think this is like straight up off the dome, because this is retarded.
He sat out and wrote that, oh, this is what we wanted to do. This is what we're doing. No, you completely and utterly failed on that consistently over the long term. Over the long term, you abused and gaslit your talent. Over the long term into non-sustainability. You spent your money on wild advertising in Shibuya and everywhere else, you know,
and lavish parties and probably cocaine and hookers.
Going out and trying to promote and advertise, spending money you didn't have to try to push these talents in places that wouldn't help them. You weren't giving them what they needed. What they needed was a paycheck, the gun run.
I love how it says concerts. And these are VTubers. Like, why are you throwing concert events in your company who is a talent agency for VTubers? These people don't go out into real life. At least, like, their character models don't. People don't really know what they look like. What's the point of throwing concerts? It makes no fucking sense to me.
Not some weird station advertising. Okay, let's continue here. Our funding went directly to creators through generous splits, debut investments, infrastructure, concerts, events, and staffing, all designed to support them. No, that didn't actually happen. We also wanted our talent to own the IP, which we knew was a unique creator-first approach for an agency. Now, that did happen. To credit where credit is due, the talents do own the IP. I've read the contract. That's true. However, despite all of our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we needed to sustain that model, and we ran out of money. Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money... Now, here we go. Here's the confession. Some I acknowledge, so I am saying this happened. Some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity. So he is confessing to the fact that they diverted funds which were intended to pay their talents, and they're calling them talents, by the way, because if they call them employees, they'll be screwed under labor law. They're using the language specifically talent because they know that they're trying to frame talents, independent contractor. We're going to get out of that. So they owed money to the talents and they spent it. They misallocated it.
Which has happened to me before. As a stagehand, I've had companies not pay me, and they went under. Pretty quickly. It took about a year.
And then he goes on to say, so some of the money spent by the company, so saying it was spent by the company, right? Misallocated, was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned, keyword he put in later learned. The words later learned are him trying to get off the hook personally. He says, I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. He is trying, what he's trying to do here.
Well, you already admitted that you spent the talent money, and then you're like, oh, I learned also it wasn't just the talent money. It was the donation money. Ooh.
Is say, oh, I didn't have personal knowledge of where the money was going in my company. You know, dollars come in, dollars go out. I don't know anything that's going on. I had no idea, no knowledge that this money should have gone to a charitable initiative. We just got a massive amount of money. We just got $500,000. And it just slipped through the cracks. That's like a couple pennies just falling on the couch.
It's complete bullshit. It was, oh, actually, this money to a charity, I mean, they get money all the time. They're not going to really be hurting for this money. And our company's going to fail if we don't pay these bills. So I think we're going to have to pay the bills first. That's exactly what happened, in my opinion. I think that's exactly what happened.
In no world does this hold up under any sort of investigation. Even the most cursory investigation. You need to know where $500,000 goes. This is not $250. It's not $350. This is $500,000 that just poof went somewhere. And as the CEO, you certainly have the responsibility to understand the major financial operations of your company. And yes, there's other officers that are on the line here. I know I can hear Tectone in the background skipping up. It's not just a gun run. Yes, okay, chill, Tectone, chill, bro. We all respect you, but you know you got to calm down. Of course, there's other people that manage the finances. There's other officers. There's the CFO that quit. There's a management.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it's not just this guy. It's there's so many people that are going to be in so much trouble.
So they quit. There's other officers that have left. We talked about the officer that left 2 months ago, and he just posted, he tagged gun run, and he's like,
I think it's gonna be probably a year before we get any more information about like how this could have even happened, like where it all started and what led to this. I think we got about a year, maybe 6 months, but I think a year.
Bro, what's going on? No, bro. Sorry, bro. Leaving 2 months ago doesn't get you off the hook. This thing has been going on for a while, at least in terms of the people not being paid, and also in terms of the charity misallocation. This is something that was done in the past. So if you were there as an officer 2 months ago and you quit, you're not necessarily off the hook. When the investigation looks at this and they get into the emails, they get into the documents, they get into, okay, what happened here? There at some point is going to be revealed a number of people, not just the gun run, but definitely including the gun run, that were involved in taking those funds and putting them other places. There were discussions that were had. And even if they were had in person, someone's going to crack, someone's going to break. No one wants to go to federal prison. This is wire fraud. This is misallocation of funds. This is violation of various other.
But you got to keep in mind, guys, this is a family. We're operating this like a family. Oh, but now we're going down, so we're just going to start stabbing each other in the back because nobody wants to go to federal prison. Yeah, dude, every single fucking time with these companies that they pretend like they're a family and then they just manipulate the actual people who work for them and then misallocate funds and do a whole bunch of illegal shit and everything falls apart. What happened to family? What happened to family then?
State and federal laws, this is no good, right? And assuming, once again, assuming on the face that all the facts we have are true, which I have no reason to believe because they've confessed this now. They've said, no, we actually misallocated the funds. There's no further proof needed other than getting into who's liable. And if we can pierce the corporate veil, that means holding individual officers, individual employees responsible personally for these misdeeds. Yes, we need more investigation as to piercing the veil as to certain people and certain individuals, etc. And I do think there's a strong possibility that that may happen. And I indeed hope that happens for some of these people trying to sink their head in the sand and say, oh, I later learned. No, bro. And let's show the proof here too. Let's show the proof here too. The gun run knew. He knew at the time. Here is literally the gun run saying, you did it, Mouse, October 1st, 2024. October 1st, 2024.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot that the money was supposed to go to charity.
You did it, Mouse.
$500,000
and really,
plus.
The only thing that he needs to know is the feds will be looking at this post, right? So that's all he needs to know.
Damn.
Live tweeting during a Fast Facts. But yes, no, that's all we need to know is that statement is there. We've got pictures of him with Mouse fundraising. So we see this guy out there fundraising. We know he knew at the time, afterwards, before. He knew at all.
Yeah, guys, this is going to get real bad. Oh, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see people go down for this. I can't wait to see all the other talent agencies running scared, falling apart because nobody trusts talent agencies anymore. I hope that keeps happening, man. Don't sign your life away through a contract.
All points of this, he knew what was going on. He was not an ostrich with his head in the sand. He knew what was going on. Let's finish the statement here. Let's finish the statement. At the time, we were working hard to raise additional capital to cover our costs, and I firmly believed, based on information available, we would be able to do so and cover all expenses. What that means is they were trying to get a loan. They used the money they didn't have, right? They misallocated the charity money, right, to try to pay current expenses because they thought they could get another loan. They were already in debt. They were already $2 million in debt, and they couldn't do it. And it says right here, we were unsuccessful in our fundraising efforts. I made the decision to pursue funding, and I own its consequences. I am deeply sorry. So right there, that last one too, guys, that last one is very true. I made the decision to pursue funding. What that means is he made the decision to not pay the talent and to keep the ship going a little longer. So instead of paying the talent, even if that meant they would have...
Exactly as I said. Dude, every time, it's so easy to read these companies and like what went wrong and how it's failing. But when went wrong and what was the first thing that went wrong to make everything go like this? We understand what made them shut down. I want to know where it all went wrong at the beginning. What was the first domino?
Had to close down. Instead of doing what was right and just, he decided to push it down the line.
Yep.
He knowingly did this, guys. He knowingly did this. This guy, and look, this is, I rarely go off, I try to stay legal and objective here, but morally, this is a horrible decision. I mean, and I think this is something that's pretty non-controversial, right? If you see that you're failing, you're in debt, you're not doing well, right? You have to, at some points, be realistic, be adults. An adult has to come in the room and say, we need to cut this and we need to do what's right. We need to pay people out. And look, I'm sure if they talk to the talent...
But if we do that, then I won't be able to make millions of dollars.
And said, hey, we're not doing well, right? We're not doing well. We need to pay the employees, right? And hey, maybe everybody across the board, including employees, we're all going to take, including the CEO, we're all going to take a haircut. Everybody at the business has to take a 25% haircut across the board because we're hurting, right? And we're all going to be in this as a team. Okay, whatever. You could have had that conversation. You could have done something. But they decided not to do that. They decided to benefit certain people at the expense of others. It's absolutely deplorable behavior and potentially criminal.
Yeah, they actually, like, fucked over the people that they were making money off of. The only reason they existed was because they were a talent agency and they fucked over the talent. Like, are you kidding me? How fucking stupid could you be?
Finishing up here, I am deeply sorry to all the talent staff,
I bet you are.
friends, and community members who believe in our brand. You did not deserve this. No, and the Immune Deficiency Foundation didn't deserve this either.
Yeah.
Right? And certainly what this does.
They're not sorry that they did all this. They're just sorry that it didn't work. They're sorry that it all failed. They're not sorry that they did the bad things. If they would have done all these bad things and it would have worked, they wouldn't have been sorry.
Deserves and what this will get is criminal investigation into exactly how this went down, who made those decisions, and how that funding exactly got misallocated. So that is going to be happening absolutely for sure. I'm going to be covering this as it gets more serious, as it gets investigated, and I will catch you on the next one.
Yeah, this is a fun one. Yeah, because nobody actually got hurt at the end of the day. Everything turned out fucking awesome, and Vshojo just completely shit itself and crumbled and died. You love to see it. You love to see a situation that turns out right. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell for all notifications. We're going to be moving forward with this story because I'm just very interested in it. I really want to know what happened here. This is crazy. This is like a historical moment for the internet.